Live from Rudy's on the Circle in Waco. Welcome in. We're glad you're with us. Welcome to those of you that are here at Rudy's. Really nice crowd. Thank you very much. Those of you listening on our flagship station in Waco, or those of you watching on the stream, KCEN TV live stream, welcome to you. And join me in welcoming our first guest of the night, Baylor Equestrian head coach, Casie Maxwell. Welcome to you.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Appreciate you being here. Yeah. This is great. What a great crowd. Now, this table right here, these are the regulars, okay?
Awesome.
Not that some of you others aren't, but these are the regulars right here. And they could, if I ever have to miss, they could host the show.
Okay,
They've
perfect.
seen so many of them.
Reliable.
So, yes, very much so. But welcome to everyone that is with us tonight, and fun time of year for you. You're getting ready to go into the Big 12 championships next week.
Yes, getting ready to start the postseason. Lots of excitement, trying to make sure everybody's not tired, but, you get excited when you kind of get to that next level of competition. So great things happening, and spring break is that great little bit of rest that they need just to kind of reset and be ready to finish strong.
Good. What's it like? What is the grind, so to speak, of your season? How tough is that?
Tough because it's all year, and that's just, there's some hardship. The benefit of that is it's good for the horses. It's good for our equipment because it gives them some breaks intermittently and stuff. It's hard on our athletes. It's hard on our student athletes, you just go week after week, and it may be every other weekend, but we try to really capitalize on having that off period over Christmas, a little bit of off period over spring break, and just kind of take the most of those times where they can just reset a little bit before they start the next segment of their season.
Very good. And for the four-legged members of your team, is it hard on them, or is it spaced out enough that they're okay? I know they're treated really well.
They are treated great. I don't think you could do it any more condensed than what we do. So for them to be able to do it all academic year, I think it's great. They get some off weekends in there. We can rotate out our horses that we're competing on and things like that. Last year's a great example when we had, the COVID season where we condensed everything into the spring. While we weren't competing our full season, we were competing weekend after weekend after weekend, sometimes 3 in a weekend. That was really hard on them. So I don't think you can maintain that in the long run. We learned that really quick. And so for them, the full year is definitely great.
Gotcha. Really spreads things out a little bit better.
Yes.
Are you in your sport past COVID as much as anybody else?
Knock on wood.
Yes.
We have been good since January.
Sorry there. All right, we're good. So, yes, knock on wood, everything's good?
We have been good. Yes, we got some other sickness, but just the normal stuff with the hot and cold weather, and we'll be okay.
Were there, and this is a little late in asking this, maybe ask it before, were there COVID issues with the horses?
No COVID issues
Nothing
with the
at all?
horses. Thank goodness. There are some animals that can contract COVID, but the horses are not one of them,
well,
so we don't
good.
have to worry about that.
Can you imagine if you had to socially distance all your
a
horses?
whole nother realm of issues we would have to deal with.
Thank goodness that was not a factor last year.
Yes.
Recently, I went out to California, a couple of matches out there, and I don't know who I was talking to. I was talking to somebody, and they said, wow, California, how do they get the horses out there? And I've been around you enough to know that the horses don't travel, but let's remind everyone, when you go to a meet, you use their horses wherever you are. You don't take your horses with you.
Correct, and that's one of the ways that we can maintain our equipment so well is that we don't have to travel them, because hauling is really hard on them physically, mentally. You get a lot of issues with that. That's why donating horses to a program is really a big benefit for some people. It can take some strain off of them. So helps with cost and everything like that. So during the regular season, the host team provides all the horses, all the saddles, and the equipment. We bring our uniforms. During the postseason, when we get into Big 12 championship and the national championship, the teams who are competing are invited to bring horses and put them into a pot. Okay. So that's one next level that you can try to neutralize the competition. You're going to try not to ride your own horses as much as you can. Ride other teams' horses and just really level the playing field as much as you can.
And that is, you don't pick. You can't pick your horse. It's a draw, right?
Correct.
Who you ride.
Correct. You don't know what horses are going to be in your draw.
Okay.
You don't know which horse each student athlete will draw either. And so completely random, done the night before or the morning of each competition. And so there's no way to prepare for that other than just riding as many variety of horses as you can at home to prepare.
Gotcha. Are there some of your student athletes who are all of them are very good at getting acclimated with a new horse, and you've got that short period to get to know them. Are there some that are better at that than others?
Sure. I mean, for some of them, it comes really fast. Freshmen coming in, they get it. Some of them get it right away. They can adjust and be versatile and just communicate with those horses really well. For some, it may take the semester. It may take the first year to kind of get synced up with that. You have to think about before they come into college, a lot of them are training on one specific horse, and they're tuning up with that one specific horse to get ready for competition. And they may change horses year after year, but for an extended period of time, they're working with that horse and connecting with and communicating with that horse. And so here, we're trying to just keep the versatility, and we call it catch riding. I mean, you jump on and you get to know them as quickly as possible. So some of them get it a lot quicker than others, but they all eventually get it.
Yeah, catch riding. That's a good term. It really is part of what makes a successful rider a successful ride, how well you can do that.
Absolutely. And we try to tell our student athletes, we're like, the more you can be flexible and adjust to the horse, the quicker you're going to get this. Because the longer you try to spend getting the horse to adjust to you, it's a long battle.
Go that other
It's a 1,200-pound animal. You're not going to win. So.
I got you. What are some of the keys? What are some of the secrets, when you have – and how long do you have? Is it like a 4-minute warm-up period?
During competition, it's 4 minutes.
Okay.
And so, on competition day, they find out that morning what horse they're going to compete on. They get to watch it get warmed up by a student-athlete who's not competing that day, so they can kind of identify some places that they may want to touch on when they get on for their 4 minutes. For the most part, a lot of it's a mental game. Honestly, you have to be confident enough in your ability and your training going into it just to know that you're going to be able to get the job done even if it doesn't feel perfect. It's about being flexible in your style. It's about being soft with that horse, not asking too much. You can always add more leg or ask harder, but if you get on and you get really aggressive and you get really demanding, you're usually going to get them really frazzled, and you're not going to have a good responsive animal to work with.
Wow. So Big 12s are next week. TCU is hosting up at Diamond Creek Ranch, which is just south of the TCU camp, right around Burleson, you said.
Yes.
How many of your horses, since it's postseason, will you take up there?
We'll take 20.
20, really?
Yes.
Okay.
We TCU being the host team will provide the most horses, and then Oklahoma State and Baylor will each bring 20. Fresno State being an affiliate member into the conference and being so far away does not bring horses, so us and Oklahoma State kind of make up that void, and we bring more just to kind of help neutralize it.
Gotcha. What's the pool number that you usually have?
For how many horses
available.
we're pulling from, we will use between 75 to 80 horses for the event.
Wow, man, that's a big number.
It's a lot.
Yeah.
It's a lot.
Very good. All right, and being close, going up to Burleson, that's got to be nice, right?
Yes, it's nice. Just a run up there real quick on Thursday. We'll still go up. We'll stay up there. I mean, we'll get the student athletes away from home and just really in that good mentality. But it is nice. It's not a big, long trip, and easy on the horses, easy on the athletes.
Good. All right, want to talk about that and talk about your regular season. We'll do that after a break. We're off and running on the Baylor Coaches Show tonight. Casie Maxwell, our guest, Baylor Equestrian coach. We're live at Rudy's on the Circle in Waco. We'll take a break and be right back. Stay with us. Back with us on the Baylor Coaches Show live from Rudy's. Great crowd here at Rudy's. Appreciate everyone being here. I see a couple of Hawaii shirts in the group right back here. You here for a women's basketball tournament, right? All right, welcome, and a lot going on. So welcome to Waco. You found Rudy's. You found a great spot. So thanks to our hosts here at Rudy's. Rudy's, real Texas barbecue. Casie Maxwell, our first guest tonight, Baylor equestrian coach, heading into the Big 12s this week, next week actually, March 25th and 26th. TCU's Diamond Creek Ranch is the host, and you'll be the number 4 seed in the tournament next week. If my bracket is right, that will match you up against number 1 seed, Oklahoma State.
Yeah, unfortunately, we lost out by 1 point to being in a number 3 seed. I mean, at the end of the day, I think we're going to play Oklahoma State one way or the other, so we might as well play them on day 1. It's tough. It's a tough thing to swallow because you have a better regular season, than some of the teams that are ranked higher than you, but it comes down to conference play, and so our conference has been incredibly tough this year.
Yeah, 6-6 overall is your record, 2-4 in conference play this year. How would you, as you look at it now, the regular season complete, how would you say things went overall?
A lot of really good learning experiences. I think we started out really strong. We had some really big wins underneath of our belt. We had some tough losses, unfortunately, against several of our conference members. But we learned from all of them. We didn't make the same mistakes week after week, so that was really good. And I think last week's a great example. 2 weeks ago, when we went to California, we had a tough loss to Fresno State, and our team just didn't show up and ride as good as they could that day. But it was a wake-up call to show up the next day and be the team that they had been all season, and they were exceptional the next day. So, I kind of hope we hit those bumps during the regular season. That's the hope, and that they peak at the right point in the season. You certainly don't want them to peak too early. So It doesn't have me nervous at all because I think they took something from every single win and loss that we had this season.
That's good. That's what you want, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
During the regular season, let's remind everyone, Fresno State is what's the term, associate member?
Affiliate member.
Affiliate member of the Big 12 Conference.
Yes.
So you went out there this year. That's a trip, isn't it?
We didn't get to go last year, so it was nice. We had a lot. We'd never been to UC Davis, so that was fun in itself since the inception of their program. And then we had a lot of athletes on our roster who hadn't traveled to Fresno State since we didn't get to go last year with COVID, and so it was just good to be back out on that side again. Good.
What's the makeup of your team this year? You got a veteran team. You got a good mix. What's it like?
Very mixed. I mean, very split down the middle mixed. Got a couple of strong seniors. A lot of them are going to come back and take a 5th year, so it's kind of nice. You don't feel like they're kind of closing in at the end here. We've got some freshmen and some sophomores who we feel like are still freshmen since they didn't have a full normal season last year, that are in there and who are really performing at a really high level, and so really a very good balance that we're not. We got a lot of younger ones coming in, getting great experience, but some older ones showing them the way and carrying some points too.
That's what you want, right?
Absolutely.
A good mix is I would think, the best formula. What's your roster? Is your roster bigger this year because of the COVID extra year?
We're a hair smaller this year. We are right about 60.
Okay.
So just a couple smaller than normal.
I got you. That's a good number. That's a manageable number, right?
I like it.
That's what you want.
I wouldn't mind staying there.
So you were tied for 3rd in the league with Fresno State, and as you said, just very close, 1 point away from being the number 3 seed.
Yeah.
So bring on Oklahoma State. Are they number 1 in the nation? Is that right?
They are, and they have maintained that for quite a bit of the season.
Really?
So they definitely have had a really great season. They still have had 2 losses, so they're not coming in undefeated or anything like that, but they've been consistent.
Nice. All right, we've got some questions from the audience. You good with that?
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, it's our First Place Foods Ask the Coach. First Place Foods, that's a darn good pickle. And first one of these is from Roy Evans right here, front and center. Roy says, very good question, Roy, what are the different disciplines of equestrian?
Okay, perfect. So 2 disciplines in equestrian, jumping seat and the Western. And then there's 4 events that fall underneath of those 2 disciplines. On the jumping seat side, we've got fences and flat. Fences where they're going over the jumps, and flat where they perform a pattern without jumping over any obstacles. And then on the Western side, we've got horsemanship and reining. So our team is kind of split out into those 4 quadrants.
Got it. Very good. Good lesson in the disciplines right there. Very good question. Another one from Jonathan. Jonathan's right back there in the back. Jonathan says, how competitive has Big 12 equestrian been with the 4 current teams the last few seasons?
The last few seasons very competitive. This season specifically, I mean, Oklahoma State has carried number one most of the year. We got in there at number 2 at some point. All 4 of us have been ranked in the top 8, expecting all 4 of us, hopefully to make it into the national championship. So, I mean, I think the Big 12 is definitely carrying a good weight.
Very good.
Yeah.
And what's that process like? How do you, what do you have to do to qualify for the nationals?
Top 8 teams in the nation. They look at your entire year's schedule. They will make the final rankings after the conference championships are complete.
Gotcha.
So the Monday following the conference, or Tuesday following the conference championships, they'll announce the final rankings for the national championship.
Good. And you're number 6 right now, is that right?
Yes.
All right, you're number 6. So you're in the field right now. That's
Yes.
good. Do you it's a fair question. Do you feel solidly in?
I do.
Okay.
I do. Knowing the records behind us.
Sure.
Yeah, I think we're in a good spot. I'd love for us to have a strong showing at the Big 12 championship and move up a spot or 2, but I kind of like being right there in the middle.
Yeah.
It's a good place to go in playing in the national championship.
Are you like some other sports where the Big 12 kind of helps you? I mean, the quality of the schools in the Big 12.
Yeah, strength of schedule is huge when you're looking at those national rankings. So the SEC and the Big 12 are going to have the strongest schedules, that they can put together. But we try to put together a strong schedule outside of our conference play too, with who we're playing in our non-conference meets, just so we know we're going to probably have some losses in there and some tough ones to play, but we don't help ourselves by having a weak schedule. So
makes sense. All right, we mentioned nationals. It is April 14th through the 16th.
Yes.
Not in Waco this year. Now
First
that's
time.
a big change.
It's a big change.
Yeah.
It's bittersweet. Definitely bittersweet. I mean, we're going to miss it being in our backyard, miss all the support, but on the other side, we're excited. We're excited to go somewhere else and travel and have that experience too. So, yeah, we're excited.
Good. It was here for how long? How many
15
years? 15 years.
And I'm saying that counting the 1 year we didn't have it with COVID.
Right,
But, I mean,
right.
for 15 consecutive years, it was supposed to be in Waco.
Wow, how about that? And the Exco Event Center and everybody out there, gosh, they were great partners, weren't they?
Fabulous partners.
Everybody, pulled their weight to make it a first-class event.
Yeah.
And it was great to have it here for 15 years. Now moving to Ocala, Florida. That is the World
Equestrian Center.
That's it.
New facility that just opened last spring, and they're still not done building it out, still adding on to it. But I mean, it's a massive complex where they'll host multiple events at the same time. I mean, we'll be there, and there will probably be 2 or 3 other horse shows going on at the same time. And so that'll be a big difference from Waco, because when we moved into the Waco facility, it was just us, there occupying the space. And so that will be different, but we're in our own section, and we'll run our own event, and it's definitely first class. It'll be a really great experience for our student athletes.
That'll be great. And I know you and a lot of people worked, Nancy Post, a lot of people worked really hard to make it a great experience for your student athletes, even though it was here in our backyard. I mean, you wanted them to feel, like the other schools did, feel special making it to the NCEA National Championships.
Yeah, you don't want it to feel just like another meet that you're hosting and, just because it's right in your backyard. So the nice thing is it's not at our facility. We moved across town. We did our best. We took our team out and put them in a hotel, just tried to really mimic what it would be like if we were traveling in. But this will definitely be better to get on the plane and go to Florida, for them to really kind of check into that mode of being at the national championship. I think they're going to miss being at home, though. I think it's very bittersweet for everyone.
I got you. And by the same token, did you feel like you had extra responsibilities when he was here? I mean, when Baylor's hosting, there's a lot that goes along with that. Now maybe you can hand that off and focus more on just the competition.
I'd love to tell you I'm handing it off, but I'm not.
Oh, you're not?
So a lot of it I am. I will say, so our NCAA organization is broke up into subcommittees that are occupied by the coaches, administrators, different people on staff. We've got SIDs on there. And for 10 years now, I've been on the championship committee. So even when I was coaching at Kansas State, I was helping with the championship down here. Completely different when it's in your backyard in your host institution, but I'm still carrying that role to Florida and helping with it there. And so this year is just a big beast with us moving into a facility that we know nothing about, and the first year is just going to be the hardest. And so I think we're all hands on deck. Nancy Post is helping too. Just really try to make a smooth transition to a new facility. Next year's going to be a whole lot easier once we can iron out all the kinks.
Sure.
But
Very good.
we're all hands on deck trying to help make it happen.
I got you. You're not really handing off anything,
Giving as much as we can to Auburn. They're a host university,
Yeah.
but we are helping.
Hey, Auburn, here's what we've done the
Yes.
last 15 years.
Yes.
Here's our playbook.
Yes.
Good luck hosting. So that'll be fun. That's April 14th through the 16th in Ocala, Florida. At Ocala, Florida, and part of the World Equestrian Center there.
Yep.
That's cool. All right, we got another question from Cody. We'll get to that right after a break. This is the Baylor Coaches Show. We are live at Rudy's on the Circle in Waco with Casie Maxwell, Baylor Equestrian coach. We'll take a break and be right back. This is the Baylor Coaches Show, and we'll return in just a moment. You're back with us on the Baylor Coaches Show live from Rudy's. We appreciate everyone that is here tonight. I want to give you our Southwest Sports Medicine and Orthopedic Sports Tip of the Week from Southwest Sports Medicine and Orthopedics. Staying at home is one of the best ways to stay well and reduce the spread of COVID-19. Avoid contact with others unless you're coming to the Baylor Coaches Show. Limit unnecessary trips and have groceries delivered. Find more tips at bswhealth.com/COVID-19. We continue with Coach Casie Maxwell, Baylor Equestrian, our first guest tonight on the Baylor Coaches Show. Let's talk about some of your student athletes in your team. Caroline Fuller has had, it looks like, is having an outstanding year.
Yeah, she's having a great year in both. She's competing in both the fences and the flat for us, and she's always been in there and been really consistent, but she's just been stellar this year across the board. I mean, a lot of Rider of the Month accolades that she's accumulated through the NCAA and the Big 12, and a lot of most outstanding player honors. You could just see her just really settling, and it's kind of at that point where it's coming easy to her. Her confidence is really up, and so I hope she maintains that and just finishes her season strong.
Good. I'm curious. So Caroline, take her as an example. What's her background? What was her background in with horses coming to Baylor?
I don't know how she got started, but we recruited her as coming out of Southern California. That's where her dad lived at the time, and her family lived at the time, and her dad was working at a Baptist university, and got kind of tied in with Baylor and wanting her to come to school here, and didn't recruit her thinking that she'd come in and be a strong competitor in both. Thought she would grow into being a competitor, and she hit the ground running her freshman year. I mean, she's been great. Just takes it all in stride. I mean, she's a pre-med major. Everything's just really she just handles it all really well. So she's able to like be very mentally calm and focused all the time. And she's a fun athlete to work with, and had a lot of really great experience, growing up showing, and just was able to bring that here.
Good. How do you recruit? What's the avenue there, and do you get recruited by the student athletes sometimes?
Yes, we do. I think, we go out on the road. There are horse shows all over the country, coast to coast, internationally, where you can go and recruit. What we try to do is focus on where can we go see the widest range of prospects.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to the World Championship shows, to what we call the medal finals on the jumping seat side, the top premium events that are qualifying events, where you're going to see the highest caliber of athletes, in the events that we're recruiting for, and you're going to see a lot of them. You're going to see them over several days. So that's where we're trying to focus our efforts, and we do most of it over the summer. There's also really big events during the fall, so we try to kind of balance our competition schedule with being able to be at some of those events and us be seen and us see them as well. And so, just being there in the stands, getting to talk to them on the off days, that's where we are. But we're following these kids. We're watching them grow up as youth, 10, 11, 12 years old. And we can't be recruiting them at that age, but we're watching how they develop until they are of recruitable age. And, the big thing for us is, do they want to come to college? Because college isn't an avenue into the professional world. So if they want to go ride professionally, there's a lot of them that are bypassing college and just going straight out of high school to train and ride professionally. So sometimes we're in there just trying to convince them to get a degree and have a backup plan if something goes wrong. I'm in the process of one of those right now. But they recruit the school too. They've got to look at us and make sure it's the right fit. On the Western side specifically, we deal with a lot of recruits who come in and they want to focus in ag. You're not coming to Baylor, and being in Texas may really speak to them because the industry's so prominent here. They can train with outside trainers at a really high level, but they've got to find the right fit in terms of a school, and a program for them too.
Yeah, fascinating. That's great. All right, we got another question. Our First Place Foods Ask the Coach. First Place Foods, that's a darn good pickle. It is from Cody. I think it's Cody in the back right there, maybe. I don't know, maybe not. It's from Cody, and he says, what drew you to the Western side of the sport as a student athlete and then again as a coach? Very good question.
It's a great question. I think getting into coaching kind of goes along with, where you competed as an athlete and what your background was primarily growing up. When I was growing up, I dabbled in both. Doing both, the jumping seat, called it English at the time, and the Western. And, you kind of explore through all the events. But as I got more focused on what I wanted to do, I kind of picked the events I wanted to emphasize in. I actually competed both in the horsemanship and the reining, growing up showing. Competed in both through college, and then went on to coach on the Western side. The jump, what we do here at the collegiate level on the jumping seat side is very different from the English riding that I actually grew up doing in the quarter horse industry. It's a different style. It's a different type of horse. It's a different way of being judged. And so you're pulling from two different industries, basically, to look for recruits to come in. And so, when they're competing at that high of a level, you're getting specialized in those events. And so, my jumping seat coach, Coach Bridges, hadn't sat in a Western saddle, so
really?
She'll stay in her lane and I'll stay in mine, and we'll help each other out. So.
Very specialized.
Absolutely.
Tell everybody about your staff.
Yeah, I've got a great staff. Coach Abby Daimle, she rode for me at Baylor. She was here, rode under me for 2 years, and then I hired her on as a coach. This is her third season working for me. She coaches the horsemanship side of our program. Coach Grace Bridges, this is her first year with us. She rode at the University of Georgia, competed both in the fences and the flat there, and then went out and trained professionally in the industry. And then our coaching position came available, and I chased her down. And then I've just hired a new director of ops, Jacqueline White. She also rode in college. She rode at SMU. She's a Texas native, and so rode on the Western side. It's not important to her role, but we've just got a wealth of experience of people who have come in from different college backgrounds, and have a lot of good perspective, can relate to our student athletes. And so we've got a really great team.
Very good. Sounds great. Well, Big 12's coming up. Begins 1 week from, it's next starts next Friday, right?
We leave in a week.
Yeah, 1 week away. So good luck up there, and good luck in the postseason. From there on to the NCEA Championships in Ocala, Florida this year. Enjoy the trip. Instead of driving across town, it's an actual trip.
I think it's going to be fun going out there, and then we're going to be exhausted coming home.
Yeah.
The drive home on Easter is going to be a little brutal, but we'll make it. Oh, man,
that is great. Well, thank you for being with us tonight. Continued success. We appreciate it. Coach Casie Maxwell, Baylor Equestrian coach, our first guest this evening.
Thank you.
Thank you, Casie.
Thank you.
Stay with us. Mike McGraw will join us after a break. Baylor men's golf coach will switch gears and continue live from Rudy's on the Baylor Coaches Show. Thanks to our host. I saw Scott. I think Josh is here as well. Thanks. Let's give him a round of applause. Thanks to our host here at Rudy's. Always great host. We do appreciate them. Take a break and be right back on the Baylor Coaches Show live from Rudy's. Back with us as we continue on the Baylor Coaches Show. We appreciate everyone being with us tonight. Hey, want to give you a word about Level Next. Hang on. It's on the phone. That's not good sometimes. It is, you can rep your school in the Level Next Rocket League Spring Showcase. Compete to take home the championship and part of the $125,000 prize pool. Like this opportunity, food is too good to be wasted. With Hellman's, you can save more and waste less. Registration closes March 27th. Sign up now at levelnextesports.com. And as we continue here live from Rudy's, join me in welcoming in Baylor men's golf coach Mike McGraw is with us now. Mike, appreciate you being here.
Thank you for having me, John. I appreciate it.
Just off the course, literally. I mean, we can say that. Just off the course.
Golf course. I did.
Thanks for coming. We appreciate it. With the time change, it kind of gives you more daylight later in the day, doesn't it?
Yeah, and we have so many class conflicts. Yeah. You tee off. Sometimes, some afternoons we have to tee off a little bit later.
Right.
So I didn't even see the end of the round today. My assistant is over there right now.
I got you. Well, thanks for breaking away.
Absolutely.
It is great to have you here, and kind of worked out. I didn't realize it till you and Casie were talking. You are neighbors down there on University Parks.
We are neighbors. We when our guys are practicing early in the mornings, they get to hear the horses, and that's actually a really cool thing.
That is very cool. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that is great. The fences are up. Everything's good. You never have any horses wandering onto your course.
No, we do not. That's good.
That's good. Both facilities are just first class all the way. Hey, thanks for being with us. How has the spring part of your schedule gone so far?
It's been okay. I think we've got a lot more left in the tank, obviously, and the guys know that as well. But we've played a really tough schedule this year. One of the best I've since even all those years I was at Oklahoma State. Didn't ever play a schedule any tougher than this one. So it's been getting our nose bloodied a little bit, but I think we've learned a lot about ourselves. So just came back from a tournament in Cabo, which was a great event. That's such a nice place to be, but I did not play all that well, but we did have one player play pretty well.
Yeah, let's talk about that right off the top. Johnny Kiefer, headline news, a round of 63, Greg Irwin. Have you done that? No.
No.
A round of 63 in the final. That's amazing.
Yeah, that was 9 under par. I saw every shot. It was quite amazing, actually. He had one little stress point where he had to make about an 8-footer for a bogey on the 14th hole. Other than that, it was pretty much flawless.
Wow.
And could have been lower, but it was a great round. Really happy for him. Johnny's played well all year long. I think he's ranked 32nd in the country out of all players, but rising up the rankings very quickly. And he's just a fabulous kid. You'd be hard-pressed to find a student-athlete work any harder in the classroom than he does as well, so which I think is just amazing.
Wow. Yeah. I am told by Matt Roberts, the third 63 in program history. Garrett May did it in 2017. Johnny Arriaga, one of the great names in Baylor men's golf, did it in 1963. Those are the other two. So is that the school record, 63 in a round?
63, and actually the 9 under par is the lowest.
It is, okay.
Relation to par.
Wow.
So that was really good.
Man, historic round there.
It was.
Yeah.
It really was.
You said to me that Johnny is just really on the rise, really about to explode.
Yeah, he's doing everything the right way. I think if I was a player on our team right now, I wouldn't copy everything he does, but I would certainly look to him as a person who leads and leads well. He does a great job in the classroom. He works out as well or better than anyone. He eats the right foods. He gets the proper amount of sleep. He practices and trains as hard as anybody I've ever coached. So it's been a really, really fun thing to watch him kind of mature and grow as a player. And he's been an All-American already, but he'll definitely challenge again this year and next year as a senior.
Tell us about some of your other top players.
Mark Reppy came back for the COVID 5th year, and he just actually got status on the Canadian Tour over spring break. He went to Alabama and qualified and got status on the Canadian Tour for next summer. So that was really good. Mark's playing very consistently. He and I both were talking today. He's not hitting on all cylinders, but he's ready to kind of do that. He's worked very, very well this year. Again, another tremendous student. Mark is an outstanding accounting student. So you can't argue with anything he's done for sure. I've got some younger guys, and that's part of the situation we've had this year. We graduated 3 really great players last year, and a lot of sophomores and freshmen have been trying to carry the load, and they've gotten a real good education, I would say. But guys like Drew Wrightson and Zach Heffernan and Luke Morgan and Trey Bosco. We did have Luke Dossie in the lineup all fall, and then he was injured. He's now trying to get back into the lineup through qualifying, and Luke has played some very, very good golf for us. So I would assume Luke's going to be in the mix here toward the end as we head toward the Big 12 championship in a month. So.
Gotcha. So your team overall is really a young team this year.
It is a young team, yeah.
And the learning, the steps that go along with that as a coach, and I really respect you as a coach. That's it can be a challenge in a number of ways, but I'm guessing that's a challenge for you.
It is, but I think that's why you coach. You want to see kids develop. I'm a firm believer in God gives everybody talent. Everybody has talent, and some people just develop that talent more than others. And so your job is to try to figure out as a coach how you can help that young man develop his talent further than, it's like some people have been given a lot, and some people do a lot with what they've been given. So I like that as an old saying, and but I think these young kids are developing this year, and I'm hoping we see it yield fruit this spring. I really believe it can, and I think we're going to play well before the year's over. But definitely, it's planting seeds for next year.
What's your plan? What's your philosophy in recruiting?
Recruiting. Well, when I got to Baylor, I literally have not signed a kid, an international player.
Okay.
So I started with Texas kids. The last 5 seasons, all 5 players in the lineup have been from the state of Texas in postseason. So that was my first philosophy, and that's kind of tough to do because you've got 10 really great universities that play a high level of golf, that recruit a high level. So that's very difficult. So I've branched out a little bit, but generally, if you can get local, homegrown kids that love the state and have the same background, basically, that's an easier way to start. So.
Branched out to other states or branched out internationally?
Yeah, we've had a Californian, Illinois, Indiana, and an Oklahoman.
Gotcha.
But pretty much. I mean, I think Illinois is international. That's a long way away.
Yeah.
It's
Some people
not-
think Oklahoma is international
That's a fact.
too.
Well, I'm
yeah.
from
Well,
Oklahoma,
yeah. You might feel that way, but that's good. So, what does it look like in the pipeline, guys that are headed this way?
We have a kid from California coming next year named Jonas Appel. He's already signed a letter of intent, and he is just an outstanding player, one of the best players in his class. Then I have a commitment from another young man in 23 that I think is going to be an outstanding player. We have Luke Dossie's youngest brother,
Another Dossie.
Sam. He just got here as a gray shirt this spring.
Wow.
So he should be a senior in high school, but he's here. And then a young man from Little Rock, Arkansas, named Ben Brogdon for next year. Those have all signed, and Sam's already here. And then we have I think some pretty good commitments in 23 that I'm really excited about.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Sounds good. Can't talk about those
Can't
yet.
talk about those.
Very good. All right, we're off and running with Coach Mike McGraw, Baylor Coaches Show live from Rudy's. Hey, we're glad you're with us tonight. We'll continue with Coach McGraw talking Baylor men's golf with more in just a moment, live from Rudy's on the Circle in Waco. Back with us live from Rudy's on the Baylor Coaches Show. Thanks to Rudy's Real Texas Barbecue. Continuing with Coach Mike McGraw, Baylor men's golf coach. And let's look at your schedule coming up. Next week, the All-American Intercollegiate Golf Club of Houston next Monday and Tuesday. That's always it seems like a big meet and one of the highlights on your schedule.
It is a highlight. As I told you earlier, we have a lot of Texas kids usually in the lineup, so it's great for the parents to get to come and see it, and friends and family. So a lot of people to get to see them play. Golf Club of Houston hosted the Houston Open on the PGA Tour for 15 years. It's a great event, always in good shape, and generally good weather. And I looked at the forecast. The weather's going to be good. We're looking forward to going down there for sure.
Very good. So that's Monday and Tuesday.
Right.
Stay down there for the Curtis Handcammer Classic next week, which is really one of your, if not your biggest fundraiser each year.
It is our biggest fundraiser. It's great because we get a lot of Baylor people that are also golfers together, and they're not very good golfers, but that's okay. They do love the team. They love the university.
Yeah.
And, I got a little bit
Greg
upset.
Irwin.
Greg Irwin and Ben Hagens, they're out there. They're going to be playing next year. But those are two great golfers.
Of course.
But in general, it's just a lot of fun. And they get a chance to interact with our players and get to know our players.
That's really cool. That's very good. And along those lines, that helps raise funds for your program. Today is Baylor's Giving Day. I'm sure for Baylor athletics, I think things have gone very well. The last I heard, like $900,000 plus for athletics.
Wow.
And folks can specialize a gift to a specific sport. I'm sure that's big for you to get funds for your Excellence Fund.
It is, and sometimes it's people who have been giving already, but a lot of times it's somebody that saw something on social media and they go, oh, I could help out. I can't help it that much, but
nice.
Every penny does help our program, and it's great that we have that support.
Very good. Baylor.edu/Giving Day is the website, and not too late to contribute there. So following that, that's next week, and then Monday, March 28th, you got a new addition to your schedule.
We do. It's a little match. We were at the Border Olympics, and I was talking to some other coaches and realized some other coaches have 1 day of competition left, and we had 1 too. Huh. Sometimes some years some tournaments are 2 days, some are 3, and so you end up with an extra day.
I gotcha.
So I called all 3 of these coaches, Abilene Christian, Texas San Antonio, and Texas State, and all 3 said they would love to come here to Waco, Texas. Going to play a practice round on Sunday the 27th, have a nice dinner. I think it'll be a fun dinner, and have a pairings party. And then we're doing it the first-ranked team, best-ranked team against the fourth-ranked team in the morning, and the second and third-ranked teams against each other. In the afternoon on Monday, there'll be the finals and a third-place match. It's called the Bear Brawl.
The Bear Brawl is what it's called.
Pretty rough.
And you said you offered up. You didn't come up with that.
I did not. Tom Shaw at Abilene Christian thought, "What do we call this?" And I said, "Let's call it." He said, "Let's call it the Bear Brawl."
That's great.
I'm all for it.
Very good.
Yep.
Well, hope it has a long lifespan. This is the first one of those, so hopefully that goes well. You, Texas State, UTSA, Abilene Christian on Monday, March 28th. That's out at Ridgewood.
Country Club, and it's open to the public. Anybody can come out and watch.
Nice.
Yep.
Folks don't get to see you in Waco, your team in Waco, very often. So that's a good opportunity.
Yes.
March 28th. Hopefully we got basketball teams that are headed to the Final Four.
That would be great, wouldn't it?
On that Monday. That'd be nice. Welcome again to Hawaii. The Hawaii women's team is here and playing Baylor on Friday. All right, we got some questions from the audience. Here's one from Greg Irwin right back here. Our First Place Foods Ask the Coach. It's brought to you by First Place Foods. That's a darn good pickle. He says, Greg says you've developed quite a reputation for a great coach and a recruiter. What are you looking for in high school players to play for you and become such outstanding college players?
Well, honestly, I look for a little bit different athlete here at Baylor. I start with a big group of kids that I think are good enough to help Baylor, but then I kind of shrink it down pretty quickly with academics. At Oklahoma State, the academics were not as rigorous. They just weren't. And so I don't want to bring a kid in who I think is going to struggle in the classroom. So that's how I first do it. But the main thing I do is I look for high character. I think character is about the most important thing that you can do. That you could have as a player. So I want them to be from a good family, high character, that they want to represent the university well. It sounds a little corny, but it's true.
Yeah.
It makes your job easier as well.
Oh, man. Yeah. I am all for that. That sounds great. All right, good question, Greg. Appreciate it. Here's one from Ben Hagans. Where's Ben? I know Ben's here somewhere.
Back here.
All right, there he is. Ben says, please comment about some of your unique qualifying events for your golf team.
Okay. These have kind of become.
This sounds good.
Well, they're interesting. I try to mix it up. I try to do something like some days you'll go out and caddy for a teammate.
Okay.
And whatever score he shoots that day, you get that same score.
Okay.
And then he caddies for you the next day.
That's cool.
So you're very intent on helping your teammate get the best score you possibly can. Sometimes we play bag carry where we have a putting contest on the putting green right before the match. And the loser of the putting contest has to carry both bags down the first fairway, his opponent's bag, and he can't get those bags off his shoulders until he wins the hole.
Oh, my gosh.
So we've had one guy go 16 straight holes carrying both bags. I had one that I call the envelope, where I put in the envelope sealed on the first tee, okay, this is what counts today. This is what we're doing for qualifying. And I open it up after 18 holes, and it might say you have 9 more holes to play, or it might say only the odd holes counted today, or whatever. What I try to do is just kind of throw things at them that are going to be unusual, because without a doubt, every tournament you play, something unusual happens that you're not ready for.
Yeah.
So I think the best way to prepare for a golf tournament is to be expecting things that are just going to be crazy. So we try to do, those are just 3 of them, but we just we do something different a little bit every day.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Well done. Good question, Ben. Appreciate that. Here's one from Steve Van Wagner. Steve is right there behind the camera.
Steve.
He says, how many players have you coached at Oklahoma State, and I'll add Oklahoma State or Baylor, who have won pro tournaments?
Okay.
It's a pretty good list, isn't it?
I think it's at 9 right now that have won on the PGA Tour or the Korn Ferry Tour. 9 different players, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, and maybe as an assistant coach, that list would be a little higher as well at Oklahoma State. But the truth is, you don't end up coaching very many PGA Tour players. That just doesn't happen. You think it's something that happens a lot. It really doesn't.
Yeah.
You don't coach that many, and you're very thankful when you do. So.
Very good.
Yeah.
Good question, Steve. Thank you. All right, here's a question from one of our visitors from Hawaii. And welcome to you. How do you pronounce it? Is it Deja? Deja Phillips. Deja says, have you ever golfed in Hawaii? Duh. If so, where? Let's say, what are your favorite spots in Hawaii?
Well, the only place I've played golf is on the Big Island, and I really enjoy that. There's a lot. The wind blows all the time. It's a beautiful, beautiful, and obviously the courses are pretty much on the coast. But I've taken teams to Honolulu as well and played there. When I was at Oklahoma State, we went over there every single year. But the Big Island is where I really enjoy playing golf.
Very good.
Yeah.
You have suggestions?
Yeah.
Suggestions for him? Not really?
I know one side of that island, it rains all the time. So we don't play on that side.
Stay away from that side. Hey, very cool. That is great. Great questions. First Place Foods, Ask the Coach. First Place Foods, that's a darn good pickle. Let's take a break here. We'll be back with more with Coach McGraw. One final segment with Coach McGraw when we come back. It's the Baylor Coaches Show live from Rudy's Real Texas Barbecue, and we'll be right back after this. With us as we continue on the Baylor Coaches Show live from Rudy's on the Circle in Waco. Coach Mike McGraw with us. One more segment. Baylor men's golf coach. And here we are kind of in the heart of March Madness, or right at the start of March Madness. You're a basketball fan, aren't you?
I am. I love basketball. Yeah.
So what's it like when the Baylor men are a number 1 seed and getting all that attention and publicity, and the Baylor women are a number 2 seed? I would think just the name Baylor being out there on such high-profile boards and brackets really helps every sport. Do you see that?
I'm in 100% agreement with that. I just think it's great when the men's and women's basketball teams are doing great, the football team's doing great. I think every other sport does benefit. So I love it. And people, whenever we go to college golf tournaments, they ask me about Scott Drew. They ask me about Dave Aranda, and Nikki. It's pretty amazing how much the people are paying attention, and those teams have put us on the map. It's been amazing.
That's pretty cool. Does it get you in some doors? People just know the name Baylor?
My charm gets me in the doors.
Of course. Beyond that.
Okay. It doesn't hurt, I can tell you that. It does
Very
not
good.
hurt.
So, and I would think, so many good things going on in Baylor athletics, and you're a part of that. Boy, this is fun now,
It is
isn't it?
great. It's a great time to be at Baylor. And as I tell everybody all the time, when I left Oklahoma State, I never dreamed I would get to be in a place like this to finish off a career.
Yeah.
So it's been a great spot for me.
Very good.
Yep.
The your facility, the Billy Williams golf facility, it's just terrific. Do you have everything you need there?
No.
Well, today is Giving Day.
Well, it is Giving Day. We are working on that. But I will say that it is, as far as the on-campus facilities, it's one of the best in the country. Really, really happy with it. And our guys and girls really understand how important that facility is to our success.
Yeah, so much better just because of the where it's located.
The
location.
convenience, if nothing else. But it's a great facility, and you can do all you want in golf. And we just had a recent donation for some trees on the property, and one of them is going to be in the memory of a really, really great player named Rick Rogers, who just passed away. Was a great Baylor Bear, and a bunch of his teammates put together the money to plant that tree, and it's really great. A big red oak. It's really nice.
That's wonderful.
Nice.
That is wonderful. Well, it's a beautiful facility. What do you need? Or I know you want to keep moving forward.
Well, you still want to keep with the latest in the technology that's there. We have some work we're doing around the perimeter of the facility to clean it up. I don't know if you've been by there lately, but it's looking a lot better. A lot of fencing's been going up. We're continuing to just work on the infrastructure of the whole facility, but technology in the clubhouse and a workout room in the clubhouse. We just hired a trainer for men's and women's golf, and we're going to build out the training facility there as well. So,
That's very good.
Very good.
Yeah, and I guess technology, boy, that just keeps moving forward,
It
doesn't
does move forward, yeah. An old-timer like me, I'm still a wooden-shafted club,
Yeah, right. I don't believe that.
Okay.
Well, thanks for being with us. Good luck down in Houston next week. We look forward to the Bear Brawl out at Ridgewood on March 28th, and thank you very much for being here tonight.
Thank you, John.
Coach
Appreciate
Mike McGraw
Thanks.
with us as we talk Baylor men's golf, and we'll be back and wrap things up in just a moment on the Baylor Coaches Show. And back to wrap things up on tonight's Baylor Coaches Show, live from Rudy's. Thanks again to Casie Maxwell, equestrian coach, and Mike McGraw, Baylor men's golf coach, our guests tonight. Here's a look at the upcoming schedule in Baylor athletics. Tomorrow, Baylor men's basketball, the reigning Big 12 and national champions, open play in the NCAA tournament up at Dickies Arena in Fort Worth. They will play tomorrow, Norfolk State, their first round game, 1 o'clock Central Time tomorrow. Join us for that, and a great, should be a great Baylor contingent in Fort Worth all weekend long. The women open on Friday, 3 o'clock in the Farrell Center. They will play their first round match game, and with a win, their second round game in the Farrell Center Friday and Sunday. Friday versus Hawaii, and thanks to the Hawaii team that was here with us at Rudy's tonight. Great to have them with us. So that is coming up this weekend. Enjoy March Madness. We appreciate you being with us, and for now, good night from Rudy's.
This has been an exclusive presentation from Learfield.